Good day, everyone. Last time we have discussed about work, energy, and energy conservation. So we already defined work as the product of force multiplied by its product of force and displacement multiplied by the cosine of the angle between force and displacement. And we also derived the work energy theorem. Um, the work energy theorem, which could be interpreted as the work and energy are just basically equivalent. So the work is just the difference, is just equal to the difference in kinetic energy. So that's the work energy theorem. So whenever you need to perform a work, then that means you need to have energy. Or if ever you have energy, then you have the ability to do work. But what matters the most, as I've told you, is the change of energy. And we also discuss about the conservation of mechanical energy. So what is being conserved in a system is the total energy of that system, okay, of that object. However, the potential energy and kinetic energy changes, but does it mean we have either created or removed energy once the potential and kinetic energies changes? No, because according to the law, it is only being transformed from one form to another. However, if you add the potential energy and kinetic energy at any point, okay, so it will just be constant. Nakuha? So now, babalik tayo doon sa concept natin sa work. How are we going to determine if an object or a machine or a person or an object is productive in performing a work? Pwede ba natin sabihin na kapag mas marami yung work or mas mataas or mas malaki yung work na na-perform ng isang machine, let's consider a machine, mas productive na siya. Okay, so let's take for example, if work lang ba ang necessary quantity para malaman natin na productive ang isang machine. Machine lang ang ating i-consider ngayon. So for example, meron tayong isang tao at isang kabayo. Isang tao at isang kabayo. So let us assume na the man and the horse will perform the same work. Pareho sila perform. For example, pareho sila magguyod aning weight, for example. Let's assume na this is 390 joules. That's only an assumption, ha? 390 joules amount of work. So, ibig sabihin, both the horse and the man will perform the same amount of work. So, ibig sabihin ba nun nga, silang dalawa, pareho sila productive kasi pareho lang naman sila ng work na ginawa. Okay, however, experience would tell us na no, magkaiba sila ng productivity, okay? Ano yung variable na difference sa kanila ngayon? So kapag kasi horse ang gagawa sa trabaho ng, for example, then this horse will perform the same job in less time. Tama? So for example, if this person can perform this job in 1 minute, for example, this horse can perform this job in 2 seconds, for example. Then although they perform the same amount of work, however, the horse perform it in less time. So ibig sabihin mas efficient siya, mas productive siya. Kasi nga mas kaunti yung time na kailangan niya in order to perform the same amount of work. Do you follow? So ibig sabihin, hindi porket pareho kayo ng task, hindi kayo pareho ng productivity kasi merong other person or other machine na can perform that task faster, more efficiently. Nakuha? So, let's have another example. Rice planting. Ayun. So for example, meron tayong 1 hectare of land na kailangan taniman ng palay. May 4 na tao. So for example, ang 4 na tao na yan, they can perform this job in 1 day. However, sa kabilang banda, meron tayong machine, rice planting machine. 1 hectare pa din, the same pa din yung gagawin, the same task. However, this machine can perform this same work in less time. So for example, it will just be 5 hours. na i-work out ng machine. So ibig sabihin, in terms of how fast this machine is able to perform the same work, magkaiba sila sa tao. So ibig sabihin, iba ang kanilang productivity. Okay, so hindi basihan yung work lang. So ngayon, kapag gusto natin i-quantify kung gaano ba ka-productive yung ating machine, hindi lang work ang kailangan natin i-consider. Kailangan din natin i-consider kung gaano ba siya kabilis mag-perform in doing that work. So we need to quantify that. Kung gaano ba kabilis mag-perform in doing the work. And that is what we call power. So in physics, power is defined as the rate at which work is being done. So rate at which work is being done. So kung gaano kabilis ma-perform ang isang work. So if you notice, if you look at the equation, power is directly proportional to the work done. So ibig sabihin, kapag mas mataas yung work done, ibig sabihin mataas din yung power. They are directly proportional. When the work increases, the power also increases. So kapag mas marami kang work na nagawa, hindi mas productive ka, mas powerful ang term power. Mas powerful ka. Do you follow? Because they are directly proportional to each other. Now, how about power and time? Power and time are inversely proportional to each other. So, ibig sabihin nun, kapag mas mababa yung time, ibig sabihin, mas powerful ka. Inverse relationship. So, kung mas na-perform mo ang work in small amount of time, edi mas powerful ka sa kanya. Okay? So, that's the relationship between power and work and power and time. So, ano ba yung equation natin sa work? We can also manipulate these equations. Alam natin that the equation for work is force multiplied by the displacement. Now, if the force and the displacement are acting in the same direction, so yan lang yung equation natin, force times displacement. So, in the same direction. Divided by time. Ayan. So, this is the equation for, another equation for power. Now, if you notice, there is a part of this equation na meron tayong displacement over time. Ano ba yung displacement over time? Ano yung displacement over time? Kailan natin yan gagamitin na formula? If you remember kinematics, that is our equation for the velocity, constant velocity. So force times the constant velocity. Take note, this velocity here is constant velocity, not acceleration. Ayan, the velocity is constant. So ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng power? Ano ba ngayon ang unit ng power? So punta tayo dito sa second equation natin para mas ma-identify natin yung unit ng power. Ito. What is the unit of force? The unit of force is Newton. What is the unit of displacement? It is meters. And what is the unit of time? It is seconds. Ano ang ibig sabihin ng Newton meter per second? Ibig sabihin nun, for example, meron tayong isang object. 1 Newton, for example, ang weight ng isang object. And kailangan natin yan hilain pataas. Hihilain natin pataas ha. Yan. So ang ibig sabihin ng 1 Newton, 1 Newton meter per second is that ang 1 Newton na object, kaya nating iangat ng 1 meter, so 1 meter, in just 1 second. Do you follow? So, pwede natin iangat ang 1 Newton into 1 meter. Saka na to siya, biraho na to siya into 1 meter in just 1 second. So, yun ang ibig sabihin ng Newton meter per second. So, kapag 2 Newton meter per second yan, ibig sabihin, 2 Newton yung kaya mong iangat ng 1 meter in just 1 second. Or, pwede din 1 Newton pero 2 meters. Pwede din yan. Pwede kasi ang i-manipulate. So, pwede na 2 meters ang 2 Newton meter per second, pwede na 1 Newton pero 2 meters. As long as the product will give you 2. So pwede yan magiging 2. As long as it will give you a product of 2 in just 1 second. Nakuha? Okay, so yun ang ibig sabihin ng Newton meter per second. However, as I've told you, we always give credits to those who contributed a lot to the field. So this unit, Newton meter or joules per second, because Newton meter is the same as joules, this is equivalent to watts. Or symbol is W. So ang unit ng power natin is watts. Okay, so uulitan ko ang ibig sabihin ng 1 watt. So for example, 1 watt. Anong ibig sabihin ng 1 watt? Ang ibig sabihin nun is meron kang 1 Newton. So ano ba yung 1 Newton in convert natin sa mass? That's 0.1 kilograms or 100 grams. So meron kang 100 grams, kaya mo siya iangat ng 1 meter in just 1 second. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng 1 watt. Mura kag mag-alsa ba? Og 100 gram sa 1 meter in just 1 second. So that's the meaning of 1 watt. If you notice, medyo medyo magaan lang yung 1 watt, yung watt na power na unit. That is why meron tayong another unit for power na medyo malaki. Ang tawag natin is horsepower. Okay, familiar siguro mga HP. Horsepower. So ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng horsepower? Ang ibig sabihin ng horsepower is the power of the horse. The power of an average horse. So paano natin i-measure yung power ng horse? So the same case na ipaalsa sa horse, ay kana, then ay pulley, then ipabira na sa horse, mulakaw siya dere. Now, for example, ang power sa horse, it is, for example, na kay 775, ang 1 horsepower, isulat na lang ako daan dere ha. 1 horsepower is equivalent to 745.7 watts. Ganyan yung horsepower. Yan yung equivalent ng ating horsepower. Now, ano ang ibig sabihin ng 1 horsepower? Ang ibig sabihin nun, meron kang, for example, meron kang 747.5 Newton. Pwede kasi natin yung i-convert into yung unit ha, 745.7 Newton meter per second. Pareho lang kasi yung watt at saka Newton meter per second. So ano ang ibig sabihin nun? Pwede na 745.7 Newton ang weight ng ating object. Okay? And that is equivalent to, pila may equivalent, this is equivalent to 70, pila na? 745.7 divided by 9.81. That is equivalent to 76 kilograms. Approximately 76.0 kilograms. Yan. So, paalsahon ni mo og 76 kilos ang kabayo. It can raise this weight ng 1 meter in just 1 second. Kaya niya iangat ng 1 meter in just 1 second. So after 1 second, nandito na yung weight natin. Okay? After another second, nandito na naman yung weight natin. Amot ba? Di man ginamabot din, no? Okay? So that's the meaning of 1 horsepower. Okay, so ilagay natin sa perspective. For example, erase all ink on the slide. What is, anong ibig sabihin ng 1 horsepower? For example, natay 1 kilogram. 1 kilo. For example, kaniha 1 kilogram, erase natin eh. 1 kilogram. So 1 kilogram is equivalent, is approximately 10 Newton. Approximately 10 Newton. For example, 10 Newton na ha. For example, ang height kay gikan diri sa bottom hangtod diri sa taas kay ang distance ana niya kay 100 meters. Na 100 meters. So pila ka seconds? Pila ka seconds kaya isaka na sa kabayo? If the horsepower, the power of a horse is 745.7 watts. Pila man? O so i-calculate na to. Butangan lang na to og ano, magic triangle para di mo malibog. So power work man sa taas, daro. Work time power. Unsa pa kay equation sa power? Power is equivalent to FD over time, or that is also equivalent to F times velocity. Okay? Ayun. So, ito yung gagamitin natin na equation kasi mayroong force. So, for example, ano ang ibig sabihin ng horsepower na yan? So, for example, natay 1 kilogram. Pila ka seconds isaka sa kabayo ang 1 kilogram to 100 meters. So, i-calculate na to using this equation. Power is equivalent to FD over T. So, kailangan na to si time. So, it will just be time is equal to FD over P. Excuse me. So, force, pila ang force? 10 Newton. Times the displacement, which is 100 meters. Over the power, pila ito power? 745.7 watts. So, pila man niron ka time? Ang kailangan, 10 times 100 equals, divided by 745.7. It is just 1.34 seconds. Approximately 1 second lang. Okay, so that means kung imo nang paasahon ng kabayo og 1 kilogram, mabot na siya after 100 meters. Pila mo ng 100 meters? Layo na ka ng 100 meters, no? In just 1 seconds. 1 seconds, 1.34 seconds. So, di ba? So, expected tigin ng dalian na maabot sa taas. Kay kabayo gud na, then 1 kilogram ra pag yun. So, that's the meaning of horsepower. Another lagay natin sa another example. Same pa din, horsepower. What if ang weight ng ating object, kana pong bugat-bugat, 50, for example, 50 kilograms. So that is approximately 500 Newton. Approximately 500 Newton. So 100 meters gihapon. So pila man naron ka seconds i-travel sa kabayo pasaka ang 50 kilograms. So that is 500 Newton times 100 meters divided by 745.7 watts. And that will give us 500 times 100 divided by 745.7. That is 67.1 seconds. Okay, pila mo na 67.1 seconds. That is equivalent to 1 minute and 7 seconds. O, di ba? So 1 minute lang ka, iisa ka padulong 100 meters sa kabayo. Of course, expect ana kay kabayo gud na. Kabayo gud na. Okay? Ayun. So let's have an example. Example na tayo.